Welcome back to a new video, guys. Today, we're going to get into the topic of consolidation in the sports card world and why I think it's not the correct thing to do with so many people consolidating their collections and selling off a lot of cards and buying a couple cards that they really like. Let's get into it. So today, we're going to talk about my journey with actually doing the opposite of consolidating and buying more. And I'm going to give you guys a couple examples along the way of what I've done, but let's get into it right here. As you can see, I'm going to show you guys something that I started with recently and what I sold it for, and we're going to go through all the different stuff along the way, so buckle up and let's get into it. But pretty much, if you guys don't know the story, I think I may have shared it somewhere before, maybe on TikTok, but if you guys have not seen this before, I started with this Anthony Edwards signed Prizm Silver rookie card that was a PSA authentic autograph 10 grade. Now this one I got at a in-person signing and I'd had it in my collection for about 2 years, and I just felt pretty uncomfortable with it in my collection with how much it was worth. It was worth over $1,000 and I needed something to get it out of my collection. I just needed to figure out something to do with it. So that's where something amazing came in play. We'll check this out right here. So let's break down the cost. This card was $100 raw, and the in-person signing cost me $200. So that's $300 right there. Add in $27 to get the card graded with PSA, and that gets you to a cost of $327. Now, that's just one more small external factor that I was into this card for less than $400 at $327, as you can see right there. And with that price, I felt good at the card. I didn't think I was going to get burned whatsoever, but with the card selling for over $1,000, I just knew it was something that I had to find a way to get out of my collection and get some money out of. And I had a plan in my mind. For over a year, I've been wanting to do a Hall of Fame in-person autograph chase where I was going to get in-person autographs of as many Hall of Famers on Topps trading cards as I possibly can. And that's what I decided to do. So I sold the Anthony Edwards for $967 after fees and such on eBay, and I had that much money to play with my Hall of Fame set. So I had a couple of the cards already, but here we go. One other reason I didn't like this Anthony Edwards card in long term is I think there's a lot of built-in rarity to this card and people really hyping it up. Here is just some of the pop report that you can see of all the different parallels of that card, and what's not included is the base. There's 83 signed base cards in the PSA population report that are graded with the full service, which is where they would authenticate the card, authenticate the autograph, maybe give a number grade or number grade to the autograph or the card if they're going to do that, but that's not factoring in the blue label trading cards, which don't go into the pop report. So, but just knowing that there was a total of 141 total signed Anthony Edwards Prizms of all the different parallels in the population report, plus I would guess somewhere between 500 and 2,500 other ones that are just blue labels, not in the popular report. I feel like there's a lot of built-in scarcity to this, and I did not really want to have that long term. So I knew that I could get out of this and get stuff that was a better buy, a lot more rare, and was long-term going to make me happier and financially make me happier too, let's say. So now let's check out this next thing, my new project. My new project is the Mini Hall of Fame autograph chase. So I'm chasing as many autographs of Hall of Famers on their trading cards, like I said. Currently, I sit at 39 out of the 351 members, and it's a fun project because every year for the rest of time, there's going to be Hall of Famers added to the Hall of Fame. So, you know, you're never going to know who is going to get added the next year. There's always going to be people to add, and obviously there's names I'm probably never going to obtain. Like I'll never get a Josh Gibson. Maybe I'll never get a Babe Ruth. Maybe I'll never get Hannes Wagner, stuff like that. But there's a lot of really fun names, and as you can just see from the screenshot of my page right here, they just look so cool on the vintage ones. Like you can see a couple 53, I've got a 58, a 56 right there. So some really cool stuff and cards that I really enjoy a lot more and I like to look at a lot more than my Anthony Edwards cards. So now let's talk about what I traded the Ant for. As you can see on this page right here, these are all of the cards that I've picked up so far with that money that I initially had from selling the Anthony Edwards card. And there's a lot of great cards here. Obviously, every single one of these guys is a Hall of Famer. And what I really like about these is there's just so much variety. You have everything from early 50s cards all the way up to late 90s, early 2000s cards with that Craig Biggio up top. And there's just so many cool cards. Like, for example, I love 1953 Topps. I've always loved that. And I've always wanted to buy some of the signed cards from that set, but I never kind of had the full reason to because I was like, I'm just going to buy it. It's just going to be a thing in my collection that I don't really love all that much, don't really have any purpose behind it. And that's something for me, is I need to have purpose if there's going to be something I'm going to buy. So for this, there's purpose behind all of these cards in being added to the Hall of Fame collection and getting me one name closer to completion of that set, which it will never happen like we just said, but there's so many cool cards here and I've loved picking this up. And the best part about this is I traded that Anthony Edwards for all of these, and I still have $185 cash from that sale that I can spend on cards, and I'm saving, trying to find the right next card to pick up. But it's just so much fun when you look at these, and there's so many different great Hall of Famers. For example, you have 58 tops of Bill Mazeroski. That's a second-year card of him, and it's just a beautiful looking card. And I probably could have went with a rookie for him, but I just think the second year is so much of a better looking card that I need that one in my collection. Another example, Jim Palmer, 1967 tops, 1966 tops, I should say. Beautiful card. Got that through the mail autographed by him. It only cost me $10. I bought the card for like $15. That's a $25 card right there that I got in exchange for the Anthony Edwards with all this other stuff. And you have to remember, I was only into that Anthony Edwards for $327. So when you look at everything on this page, I got all of this for $327, if you think about that. And now that I'm looking at this page, there's also one that I did not add to this page for some reason, and it is my favorite card in my Hall of Fame set so far, my Monty Irvin 1953 tops. Just a beautiful looking card, amazing image on the card, and one of my all-time favorites that I've ever picked up. So that's pretty cool. Some of my favorite cards that I've picked up. But now let's talk about the long-term outlook for this and why I'm doing this and what I'm thinking. For me, Ant's rookie Prizm is only going to go up in pop. That thing is only going to get signed more and more. He's like 23 or 24 years old. He's been in the league for 5 years, and he's only going to sign more. Just think about guys like Kevin Durant, Steph Curry, Chris Paul, James Harden. Like, obviously, Chris Paul and James Harden don't sign as much, but guys like Steph and KD sign a ton. Their rookie cards are in the thousands upon thousands in the pop report. So with Ant, it's going to go up. Maybe he becomes an all-time superstar, and maybe I'm kicking myself 5, 10, 15 years from now. But that's a risk I'm willing to take because I'm getting a lot of these Hall of Fame autographs of guys who are no longer with us. These guys aren't going to sign anymore. And I've kind of been focusing on buying raw cards if I can because I just think it's a better value and I can grade them myself down the road. But these guys aren't going to be signing anymore. Monty Irvin's dead. Al Kaline, he's passed away. Johnny Mize passed away. Bob Feller passed away. All these different guys that I'm buying of, they're not signing any more autographs. So that's just a kind of a simple concept, simple idea, but I think it's very interesting that I can get all this stuff for just a fraction of what that Anthony Edwards cost when I was able to sell it. So that's pretty fun. And it's also a fun project for me over the coming decades. This is not a project that I see taking a year or 5 years. I see this project being a lifelong project and something I can continually add to. When I look to the left of me in my office, I've got my Minnesota Twins signed Hall of Fame rookie PC put up for all the members of the Twins Hall of Fame. And I had so much fun creating that. I actually completed it, have all 28 cards signed right now, or I think it's 42 actually, my bad. But such a cool project, and it was so much fun. So being able to do it with all of baseball and all the greatest players in Major League Baseball history is just an added bonus. And you know what? Maybe this is a great investment. I guess we're never going to know, but down the road, there may be a day where I sell this. Maybe Ken Golden wants to do a Mini Graphs Hall of Fame auction in a couple decades down the road, and that would be a really cool auction, I think, if I'm ever at a point where I need to sell this or want to sell it, because we'll have accumulated and been searching for great deals in these cards where I'm probably, even if I'm selling them for a slight discount, I'll still be making money on them in the long run. And also, like I've said a couple times in this video, I just absolutely love the diversity of this collection that I'm slowly building week by week. And it's so much fun to have all these different signed cards of all these great players from different eras. And I'm really looking forward to doing it more and more throughout the coming years. And I can tell you right now, one of the next cards I'm looking for is a Willie Mays or a Hank Aaron signed Topps card from the mid to late 60s. I just think that would be so cool. I think there's some pretty good inherent value right there. And when you look at stuff like Mickey Mantle, how much his signed Topps cards go for, and he did a lot of signing throughout his later life, I think that there's some great value in those. So I'm really looking for those next. But overall, had a lot of fun doing this, and this is going to be a project that I hope you guys will follow along with. So if you enjoyed that, make sure you guys leave a like on the video, and let me know in the comments, do you think I made a mistake selling that Anthony Edwards card for $1,000, or should I have held on to it a little bit longer and seen what happened over the course of the next couple of years of his career? I'd love to know your thoughts, but we'll see you guys in the next one, and thanks for watching. Peace.